Hello and welcome to today's Partner Web Conference. This is Fast Track Dynamics 365 for Finance and Operations Enterprise Edition Tech Talk. Today's topic, piece-by-piece picking process. Presenting for us today from Microsoft, we have Senior Program Manager Mirza Abdic. So without any further delay, Mirza, over to you.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining this session, Fast Track session for Microsoft Dynamics 365 for Finance Operations. And this evening we will be presenting for you piece-by-piece picking process in the warehousing VHS module. My name is Mirza and I'm working from Copenhagen as a program manager, mainly responsible for the WMS functionality and working in the supply chain area as such. So for this session we have prepared agenda with the 4 parts, and it consists of information about piece picking, where it applies, how it is set up, and a demo which will be conducted on the real live machine. So let's start, and as announced in the beginning, you are welcome to ask as many questions as you have at the end of this presentation, which will end with the demo. So here we will tell a little bit about piece picking and why we have it. So as we know, in the WHS module, both on the inbound and outbound side, inbound when we are receiving goods and outbound where we are picking goods, we have always had ability to confirm the item. However, if we are about to pick certain quantity or amount, confirmation of the item happened only on the first piece of picking. The other challenge was that amount that we are picking needed to be entered as a number on the RF scanner. So what market and customers have requested is to solve the challenge of piece-by-piece picking. So now we are going to tell a little bit where the piece-by-piece picking is mostly used. In the retail industry or e-commerce as such, we will normally see cluster picking. In the cluster picking scenarios, we do want to use piece-by-piece picking, and it has 2 purposes. One is to make sure that amount of the items that we need to ship to the customer is correct, the quantity, and as well that we are shipping the correct item. And the other thing that we want to make sure that happens many times in the cluster picking flow or business process is that when the items are picked from the boxes, that could be a garment of the retailer. Sometimes if the items are falling down from the boxes or you lose them on the floor, there is a quite big probability that they might be put back in the box where we have a same item, same color, but maybe the different size if we are doing variants. So next time somebody needs to pick this item, of course, having only capability of scanning the license plate, which will be a box, for instance, on the fixed location, and then verifying item first time, it's not sufficient, because any other item that we take from that box could potentially be a wrong variant, either size or some other measurements. So for that particular purpose or outbound picking, we have invented or we have created a capability of piece-by-piece picking, which allows us to do 2 things. One is verify item every time we scan the barcode of the item. Number 2, basically count up or add every scan adds a single each to our picking quantity. And we have also done the enhancements that now utilizes unit of measure conversion between different units. So when we are using the barcode, let's say in the sales order picking, what we can do now is we can, if we are asked to pick 150 pieces, and we are coming to the location where we have 1 pallet, and pallet has its own dedicated barcode, now we can relate this to a supermarket where we have 6-pack of Coke, and then we have a single bottle of Coke. They will have different barcodes identifying units of measure, which in this case, if we are scanning the pallet barcode, will tell us that we are picking 100 if the unit of measure conversion between the each and the pallet is 100. So by scanning that and verifying that barcode is correct, we have same time check the item, that item is correct that we are picking or the variant, and we same time will increase the quantity with 100. So we can do in different units of measure, but we can also do it in each, which will be the scanning the one item at a time. Where we also see in this, it's in the ordinary picking for the wholesale and the retail, where you will have trolleys around with the packaging material on it, and firm or static scanners that are basically attached to a trolley, and every single item needs to be scanned before it's dropped into the box to be sent to the customer. Or so it is important that we have capability of scanning the barcodes every time we take the item under the scanner before we put it in the box, and then keep track on the screen that we are basically deducting or scanning the items until the quantity that we need to ship. So it has lots of purposes. What we have also done, we have enabled it on the inbound for the mixed pallet receiving, and I will be demonstrating that as well. And for that part, we have done it because in the return segment, or when we do receiving on the POs as a mixed pallet receiving, we will sometimes receive a box with the mixed items or variants. And until now, only possibility was to take physically these items out of box, sort them out somehow, and then basically, if we have possibility, scan one of the items and then enter the quantity of this particular item or variant that we have received. That it's not that lean or optimal process. So now we have capability of just keep scanning the items that we found in the box, and their unit of measure and the quantity will be resolved accordingly. So basically the receiving clerk will just open the box and then start scanning the items, no matter of their unit of measure, barcode, signature, or eaches, and they will be aligned to a PO lines if it is purchase order we're talking about, or that could also be returns that we also in this particular feature have added. So now we have added this support for returns for the mixed pallet receiving. So when we are talking about inbound, we have product information, and we want to confirm that we are receiving the correct item. And every scan, we also want to increase the quantity that we are receiving. So that will be automatic. We don't need to do any setup for it. As soon as we set up the menu item for the mixed pallet receiving, that I will demonstrate how to do, we will have that capability. When we want to set it up for the outbound, then we will, for any outbound picking work, we will set up two things. One, it's item confirmation. Another one, it's piece-by-piece picking. Piece-by-piece picking without item confirmation does not work, so we need to set up both. And I will show that setup as well. So what we also introduced, a maximum number of pieces that must be confirmed during the work, and this is something that you can set. So maximum quantity is based on the current work unit that is being processed. Counting work type does not allow a maximum. So let's now see what it's where it applies. We also want to tell you where it applies and where it does not apply. So piece picking works for all counting work and the initial pick for any type of work. With exceptions if the item is serial controlled, then we do not have this support, or if it is a production or Kanban pick from an LP location and the item is set to staging. Okay. How it is set up? Well, on the mobile device menu item, where most of the setup is located, we need to enter the work confirmation setup form. And when we enter that form, we will have options to set that are piece picking confirmation and maximum number of pieces. But please note that if we want to set up piece picking confirmation, we will need to select a product confirmation as well. And if we try to do it without, we will get an error or information that we cannot do that. For the maximum number of pieces, it's available for all pick work if piece picking confirmation is on. So with that sets a limit on the number of pieces you must confirm. So this is basically saying that if we are confirming a large number of items that we still want to allow warehouse clerk to enter the number and not necessarily scan every single of them if we are dealing with the large picking lines. So now I guess we should jump to a machine that I have prepared for this demonstration. And to start with, we will go to the menu item to see where this is set up. So now I'm showing you the Dynamics 365 for finance and operations. And under the warehouse management, we have mobile device. That's under the setup. And there's something called mobile device menu items that you probably know. That's where we define mobile device menu items for our menus for the barcode scanners. So what I have done here, I have added a mixed receiving, which basically it's based on the work, but not existing because we are creating the work. It's an inbound operation. And as you can see, we are doing it on the purchase order item receiving. That's only what I need to do, and I don't need to do anything about work confirmation setup. This is for the inbound part. However, for the sales order picking that I will also be demonstrating, I have done something else. Let's find that. We have a menu item for sales picking. And this menu item, let's just quickly edit. I have added a few things that I want to show you. It's display summary of the pick screen and count total item quantity first. So this is existing functionality that I just want to show the details of what I need to pick. On the work confirmation setup, however, we have added a few things that you should know about, which are quite powerful in any picking work operation. So let me just expand these so we can see what it's written behind. So we have, as I just said, we have a product confirmation and piece picking confirmation. Piece picking confirmation, it's new and maximum number of pieces that we want to force people to scan. And as you can see, product confirmation needs to be as well checked. Otherwise, piece picking confirmation will not be able to be set. And we have selected this for the work type pick. We also have a piece picking confirmation for the counting purposes. So you can define this on the counting as well. So in order to demo how it works, let's create a purchase order first. And here I have my menu for the barcode scanner. And as we can see, I've added my menu item mixed receiving, and I already have my sales picking where I have added capability of item scanning and as well. So for the piece by piece picking. So let's create a new PO, and I will do this for 2 items. And I will explain later how the item setup for the barcode has been set. So we will do OK. And of course, this functionality also does support everything around overpicking setup and so on. So if we, for some reason, scan a box of 100 and our work line to quantity was to scan 95 and there's no over picking allowed, then what will happen is that we'll be told, of course, even that we are scanning the unit, that it's through the unit measure conversion translated to more than what we are picking. But in this case, we will be looking at the mixed license plate receiving. So we will receive 2 items through the PO. This is the one of them. And we will be doing that on the side 2 and warehouse 24. And let's just receive 5 of these. So we save this one and we do a new line. And now we will be doing another item, which is A0002. And of course for the same warehouse and site, and we will be doing as well 5 pieces of this item. So now we are ready with the PO. So I will just remember my PO number so I can show you later in my mobile device scanner how that functions. Before we jump to that part, I will recommend that we look at the barcode setup of the item in order to be able to use barcodes to verify the item counting and as well item verification to do that. So for that purpose, we will go to released products. And here we go. And we will be looking at two items for this demo. One is A001. That was the one that I had on my PO. And under the barcodes, what I have done now, I have created a barcode which simply says 1, 2, 3, 4 for the testing purposes, and it's the pieces. Here I could have pallet, boxes, and so on, all of my unit of measure that I'm handling this item in, and I could do a unit of measure conversion in between. And so in any picking scenario, I can basically pick any of these barcodes, one representing pallet, another representing box, and behind the scenes system will use unit of measure conversion and identify how many I have picked by scanning the barcode. So it doesn't need to be one-to-one as each. Advantage of that is that if we remember how it was before, when we needed to pick up 150 and we for some reason find the pallet, we know it's 100 and there is a barcode on it. If we have switched on the item confirmation, we were forced to find the barcode of the single item in order to proceed and verify that. That's now fixed through all of the setup of barcodes. When you set up this, you need to remember to, of course, enable it for scanning, as I did here under the general. Otherwise, you will not be able to scan and verify. So going back to an item A0002, which is just below, I have done the same, but in this case, I'm calling my barcode a little bit different, of course, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I have as well generated a scanning, I've configured a scanning capability here. So now we have a PO, we have created the barcodes for the item for testing purposes, and we will try to do inbound scenario of mixed pallet receiving. So let's try to do that. We have remembered what our PO number is, and now the system is asking us, please scan the license plate that you want to do this receiving on. That could be a box, that could be a... So let's do a license plate called test 1. That's just license plate number of my pallet. And then it says, please enter the PO number. You remember from my mixed item receiving setup, I'm basically mixed item license plate receiving on the PO number. So this was my PO number. And now, if I try to say, you see, I need to scan the item. Here I can do two things. If my barcode does not work, I can type A0001. Or I can say 1, 2, 3, 4. We remember that was the barcode for this item. If I say OK, it leads me to continue scanning, as I have explained. So I can do 1, 2, 3, 4 again. And I can see, OK, we have introduced a new basically list, which we call show list. And here I can say that I have line 1. It has been identified through this item scan. And this is a PO number. I have item ID, A001. I need to register 5, and now I have registered 2 through the scanning of my barcode, as we just saw. So I continue. But now I'm opening the box again, and then I'm finding the other item, which is A002. So I just scanned this one. And that had barcode 2345 instead. I say, OK. And then if I go to the show list, I can see that I've scanned line 1, and now line 2 has been identified from this PO with the item A0002, 5 as well, as we remember from the PO, and scan the 1. Now, if we continue to do so let's just scan 3 more items of the line 1, which will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you should imagine, of course, that I'm holding my mobile scanning device and just scanning the barcodes. And now it says there's no quantity left to receive for this item at PO, and it basically also tells you which item we are talking about here, which is a 0. But now I can say, okay, I'm 2, 3, 4, 5. That was another item. And I can see show list. Now it will tell me you have already received 5 of 5. And let's imagine that I scanned this item twice. I have basically received 4. I can see them now physically, but for some reason I've scanned 5. I can always modify. Say no, that's not correct by entering the line to modify, which will be 1. And then I can say what is the new quantity. It's 4 because I have done the barcode scanning twice, if that's what and then I can continue. Now I can add one more, which will be 1, 2, 3, 4. And now it will again give me 5 of 5, as you see. And I'm missing some on the second line. So let's do that, 3, 4, and And I guess there was one more. And if I'm typing some other barcode, it will tell me that identifier cannot be found. And now we are here. So let's see what show list shows now. It's 5555, so I'm basically done. And I can now say, this is usual that we say LP complete, which will tell me this is what you have scanned. Yes, that's correct. Okay, and this will create put away work. Now going back, we can see that in our all work, we can see that we have received now basically mixed pallet receiving 2 items, and it has been created as a put away work saying put to FL001 5 pieces of A001 A022. I can take this work ID and do exactly that. So for that I will be using inbound menu for purchase put away, and I will be asked to scan the work ID or initiated by the pallet ID. So it says you are having target test. Yes, I do. And now scan a work license plate. No, I'm done. It says, okay, what is your test 2? Fine. And then we have item A002, 5 pieces. We are done. So work completed, and now we have basically completed our put away work. So now for the outbound purposes, we will do exactly the same. So we will just do a sales order instead. So we will create a new sales order quickly. And I will do that for exactly the same items, which is A001. And I want to pick 3 pieces just for the testing purposes. And I want to do that from site 2, warehouse 24. I save this one. And I do one new line, which is item A002, which is correct. And I want to do exactly the same. And I want to do that from the same warehouse inside. I save this. And I go and quickly do my reservation and I release to warehouse. This is quickly done. Reserve lot. There we go. And I do exactly the same for my second line. I could, of course, automatize this so I have reservation and everything clear. I just want to go through the basic scenario. And now we release this to the warehouse, which should create work for these 2 items. So we have information here that work has been created. We can go to the related work, which is here, work details. And now we can see that from the FL001, that's where we did our put away, and FL002, we need to pick something and put it to the bay door. Remember, on the menu item, we have activated item verification, and we also have activated piece-by-piece scanning. So let's copy-paste this work ID. Normally, we will have ability to scan it, and go to our outbound sales picking, and we will enter this work ID and say start. And this is because I just have activated display of what we need to do, these 2 checkboxes in the beginning that I show in my menu item. So it says that 2 picks, total picks blocked, that will be shown if I have some replenishment for some reason, so on. Open lines unit 6 in total, and we have the weight and so on. So I say, okay, this seems reasonable. I don't need to this information, but I can. And it will ask me to pick up from the license plate of FL001. I guess it was 24. It's not, so let me just see. I cannot scan it physically now, so I need to just go and see what is, because it's license plate control, so let's just see what are the license plates there. So for the first item, A0001, we just want to check what do we have on hand. And in the display dimension, we want to have license plate. So for the FL001, I guess that I also need to put a location. Here we go. It was a location FL001, which is here. We have it on the item A001, which is cables. Let me just see, do I have to put something else? So now A00 item FL001, it's a 2404. So let's go back to our user. It says 24, it's the license plate for the A001. Yes. Say 4. And the item will be 1234. That was the, if we remember correctly, that was the barcode. And now we can see that. And now please do not get confused that it's jumping back to the license plate, because normally it will stay on the item. This is the simulation mode of my mobile scanner. But as you can see, I can scan the barcodes and it will do exactly the same. And if I, for some reason, do not have a capability to scan the barcode because if it is damaged, I can type A0001, which should, oh, it does not here because I have activated, so it is requiring. And now it says, what is the target license plate? Test 4, I guess, one that we didn't use, and 3 are confirmed out of 3. Say okay. And now I need to go to another item, which is FL002 location. So let's just quickly look at that. On hand inventory, FL002, which is here. And we have a license plate that it's this one. So let's just scan that one. That's the one I want to pick it from. And my barcode is called 2345. And you see it is building up my quantities that I'm scanning. So now please scan the license plate, because I had only one on that one. And now I can scan the other license plate, which was test 1. And I can do 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm done. So I have scanned 3 of A001 and 3 of A002, and work is completed. And the other thing that I want to emphasize here is that if we go to the menu item setup again, and work confirmation setup for the sales order scanning, picking, sorry. Here we go. Then entering here, there was a more than product information and piece picking information. For information, in the previous sessions, we have been talking about enhancements on the batch. And as we can see here, we have also entered or created a new batch confirmation field that it's used to basically confirm a batch in the barcode, so we know that we are scanning the correct batch ID. That was not possible before. And we also have license plate confirmation for the staging purposes, where if we have staged for production or for any other process, we want to be sure if we have a location where we have stored 3 pallets, as it was before on the mobile device, we will be showing when we want to proceed with the staged work, we will be showing, please go to this location on this license plate and pick up this batch. But that was written on the barcode scanner. So there was no any ask for verification by the scanning. So what happens is that it was solely basically depending on the human reading from the screen and reading from the pallets, which in many cases are barcodes, so that was not that lean. So now basically we will ask to confirm location, license plate, and a batch if batch controlled item. So with this, I guess that we have finalized today's presentation, and I'm now open for all of the questions, and I will try to answer one that I think will come, if this will be backported to a 2012 R3, and the answer will be yes. But we have many things to backport, so I cannot give you any date when this will be backported. So, Janice, I guess I'm open for questions now.
All right, we have two of them. First one is, why could you not enter the item number when scanning?
Because I'm in the demo mode, but normally you will be able to use the item number as well if the barcode has been damaged on the RF gun. That should work. Do we have any other questions?
We do. Let me see here. It says, I noticed you are in the retail SKU configuration, but advanced WMS is not supposed to be functional in the retail SKU. I just spoke to the PM on the retail team about this, who confirmed that the retail SKU deployment should not allow advanced WMS capability.
But I have not been using any retail. Both of the items that I have been using have been advanced WHS enabled.
Okay. And we just had another one pop in. Is it in spring release?
Yes. These capabilities are part of our spring release that has been released.
Excellent. All right, that's all the questions that we have right now, so we'll just wait a couple more minutes for any remaining questions to come in. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring your attention to a link that I posted in the messages panel. And that's a link to a short survey for this web conference, and we ask that you please take a moment before logging out to access it. We hope that you found today's information helpful, and if you enjoyed today's web conference or have feedback on how we can provide you with a better event, this is your chance to let us know. The survey scores are on a scale from 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest score possible.
Yes, thank you. And I have just one more thing to add. I forgot my last slide, and this is basically to encourage and ask people to go to one of or all of 3 of our sites that I mentioned here. First one from top, it's basically the team blog, where we are trying to do as many blogs as possible describing why we do a functionality, how it is done, and then step-by-step process of setting it up and using it. So it's really, really good knowledge base. The second one in the middle, it's the roadmap dynamics.com. This is an excellent place to follow up what teams in the different areas of Dynamics for Finance and 365 for Finance and operations are doing. And it has three slices. The one is what has recently been released and done. The one is what teams are currently working on, and the one it's what teams will be working on in the near future. So it's a very good basically site to get a picture of what is going on with the Dynamics 365 for Finance and Operations. And the last one is closely connected to the middle one with if you find that something is missing and the teams are not working currently or will be working on it, you are always welcome to go to ideasdynamics.com/ideas, where you can register your ideas and let other people vote on it. And you can also search through the existing ideas and then vote on them. And I can tell you that all research and development teams are closely following the ideas site, which basically it's our direct input. One of inputs to be able to look in our backlogs and then basically prioritize them in the right manner. So please do register all of your ideas in the dynamics.com ideas site, and we will be answering on these ideas and try to understand your requests and accordingly implement that in our backlogs and make them prioritized in the right manner. So thank you all for listening this evening. I hope that this feature is useful for all of you and your customers. And please do join our coming sessions that we will have on some other topics of spring release that you might have interest in. And you can always go back and watch our last session, which was about batch enhancements for the spring release. Thank you, everyone.
All right, excellent. We actually have a follow-up question here. So he's unclear as to what the difference is between piece picking confirmation and quantity confirmation.
So the quantity confirmation, it's basically showing what quantity you need to pick and what quantity you have typed in and confirmed. While the piece by piece picking, it's kind of counting up the quantities that you pick using a unit of measure through the barcodes. So it is each or piece or something else. So that's the difference. You will be forced to basically scan the quantities in and not just confirm it with a single field. I guess there was no any possibility of piece-by-piece scanning in the previous version. That was not the quantity confirmation.
All right, excellent. And there are no more questions in the queue. So Mirza, did you have any more final thoughts before we wrap up?
No, I just want to thank everyone who is giving us feedback through the Yammer and these channels that are shown here. Please keep doing so, because we are driven by the customer and customer needs, and that's how our backlog is prioritized.
Great, thanks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude today's web conference. Attendees may access the web conference recording via the same registration link used to attend today's live broadcast. I'd like to extend a thank you to our presenter, Mirza Abdic, and thank you, audience, for logging in and joining us today.